we're on track to hit the highest annual average growth rate in over 13 years. And I will say this right now, and I'll say it strongly, as the trade deals come in one by one, we're going to go a lot higher than these numbers, and these are great numbers. Once again, we are the economic envy of the entire world. When I meet the leaders of countries, the first thing they say invariably is, Mr. President, so nice to meet you. Congratulations on your economy. Since I was elected, we've added 400,000 new manufacturing jobs. Remember, that was the obsolete deal. Obsolete. I used to say, why is it obsolete? We have to make things. Manufacturing jobs are among our best jobs, and we're just getting started.
That was President Trump earlier today, literally going over what is now a remarkable economic story since he has now taken office. These unprecedented numbers are certainly sure to help Republicans. We are 101 days away from what I am calling the most important midterm elections in our lifetime. Now, earlier this week, Breitbart News, they came out with a very thorough report detailing seats that the GOP must maintain and hold to keep their majority. A lot at stake. Joining us now, former Trump White House chief strategist Steve Bannon. Here's the thing, Steve. You and I have discussed this privately. This is now Battlefield 2018 because they want to impeach the president. They want their crumbs back. They want to get rid of ICE, open borders. They want to keep Obamacare. And they want to cover up the corruption that we have been exposing at the highest levels of government to steal an election. A lot at stake.
Sean, you said something that's the most important midterm. I would just like to rephrase that. And I think this is President Trump's first reelect. This is going to be an up or down vote. It's a referendum on the Trump presidency. They are very focused. The opposition is going to be very focused on trying to win the House of Representatives, try to win Congress in order to impeach President Trump and stop the entire project, right? Whether it's the economic growth, whether it's the new reorientation of the world's commercial system through trade deals, whether it's his America First national security. Whether it's southern border security, you pick it, they're going to try to unwind it. So this is really, I mean, the Democrats got one thing. They got a do-over. In this November, and it's 100 days and a wake-up. 100 days and a wake-up, we're going to have essentially a national election. And that's going to determine the second half of the first term of President Trump, and I think 2020. So when people ask me about 2020, right now, we are going to have a referendum. It's going to be, I think, very focused on President Trump's record. And I would tell everybody that the way to win this is exactly like we won in 2010, that great Tea Party sweep. You're going to have to go out door to door, ring doorbells, do voter registration drives, and get people out. I mean, President Trump has delivered on the action. Now it's time for the populist movement, the nationalist movement, the Republicans, limited government Republicans, everybody. Conservative movement, yeah. Everybody that turned out in 2016, you have to do it all over again. Or the first action they are going to take under Nancy Pelosi or whoever the Democratic speaker is try to impeach President Trump.
You know, I went through the numbers. Your old hometown, Breitbart. I think
it's a great piece. Great piece.
But it identifies only 100 seats are really up for grabs. The others are safe because of gerrymandering, et cetera. But so they're not in play. But you got 86 of those are Republican seats, and you're talking about the Republicans got to win 61 of the 86. So that's a lot, and historically, and I asked the president about this earlier today on my radio show, historically, seats are lost in the midterm election for the party in the White House. How do people save these 61 seats plus? Because I'd like to have a little comfort margin there.
Here's what you have to do. We picked up 62 or 63 net seats in 2010, and it's not about money. It's about ideas, and it's about getting out and turning out folks. President Trump has delivered. He said he was going to take action. He took action. Was the destruction of ISIS. He took action. Look at these economic numbers today. They're just unbelievable. Look what he's doing on the trade deals. What he's doing is reorienting the world supply chain away from China. He is fully engaged in going back on China on the economic war they've had on us. President Trump has delivered on judges. Everything he said he was going to do, he's either done or in the process of doing. And it's incumbent upon everybody that supported him in 2016. This is going to be the old-fashioned way, okay? This is not going to be about commercials. It's not how much money you raise. This is going to be very simple. It's going to be muscle. The opposition is very different than in 16. In 16, Hillary Clinton's arrogance, their cockiness, You know, they really missed what we were doing in the upper Midwest, okay, to really break that blue wall. This time, the Time's Up movement and the resistance are very focused, and they're going door to door. It is incumbent upon everybody that supports President Trump to understand this is going to have to be the old-fashioned way. You're going to have to go door to door. You're going to have pamphlets, get voter registration, knock on doors, and get your neighbors to come out. This is all about turnout on November 6th.
So we're calling this Bannon Battlefield 2018. And tonight you're giving us like a general's overview as we now get to the 100-day countdown in this. But next week, what we're going to specifically do is we're going to name every district and put it up on the screen so the audience can see. Here's the thing, because there are some people that rightly will look at their congressman and they'll say to me and you, Hannity, Bannon, my congressman's a rhino. My senator's a rhino. You're asking me to go support this guy. I went out and supported Trump, but the stakes are so high what they want to do to the Trump agenda, which is the answer. At least that's my answer. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, this cuts to the heart of it. This is a national referendum. Whether it's a rhino, whether it's an establishment figure, whether it's somebody, either a congressman or a senator, that you don't fully support, that is not the question now. The question is about the Trump agenda. The question is about President Trump and his agenda. And you're going to have to just put, you know, you're going to have to sometimes vote for people that you're not totally comfortable with, okay? And this means some establishment figures, some rhinos. It doesn't matter. This is a national referendum. It's an up or down vote on the Trump presidency. If we take and force everything to November 6th, we're going to win this. There's not going to be a blue wave. And here's the benefit of not having a blue wave. When they don't get the blue wave that they've been selling their grassroots people they're going to have, they're going to turn on themselves on a civil war in the Democratic Party. And I got to tell you, it's going to make 2020 much easier.
There's a reason. Wait a minute. You just motivate. There's a big, and it's already developing. Just look at the job numbers. Put aside the success North Korea, and yes, we now have remains from that war coming home this very day.
Yes.
And no more rockets being fired, and a dismantled nuclear test site, and then the Iranian deal he promised to get out of. Jerusalem's the capital, and the toughest sanctions we put on Russia. But more importantly, we now have record low unemployment in this country in 14 states for women in the workforce, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, and the military that have been out of work. And millions now have been taken off the food stamp rolls with more jobs available than people on unemployment. This didn't happen as fast when Reagan was president, who, you know, I'm a Reagan conservative.
If you look at the actions he's taken, and you look at the results we already have, including the judges and the redoing of the federal judiciary, it's been nothing short of extraordinary. Donald Trump is a historic president. Donald Trump's a transformational president. If you want to keep that transformation going, that's why this November is not a midterm election. This midterm is the first re-elect of Donald J. Trump. And everybody's going to have to put their shoulder to the wheel. It's exactly, Sean, as you remember, what we did in August of 2016. We brought the Republican establishment together, the Trump movement together, grassroots conservatives together. We put our heads down, and against tremendous opposition of the media, the opposition party media, and all the money the Clintons raised. It didn't make a difference. We won, and we won big in a historic landslide. That can happen again, and it will happen again if people start to focus on what November 6th is, which is a national referendum on the presidency of Donald Trump.
All right, let me tell everybody, so we're going to bring you on as often as you can. I know you travel a lot, pretty much once a week from now to Election Day. And so everybody knows Steve does not like doing TV. But you think this is so important that you want to identify, and we'll do this next week, we will identify every single district that's going to matter, where the real, well, battle fight, if you will.
The battlefield.
The Bannon Battle Fight 2018.
Well, we will show people, Sean, you've been so gracious to try to talk to me about this, is that I think people need to focus on where this battle is going to take place. And it's going to be, you know, people are going to have to put their shoulder to the wheel. You know, it's game on. You know, we have to leave everything on the field and no tears. I'm tired of hearing the whining, particularly on our side of the football, about, you know, this candidate, that candidate. We got to stop the whining. We have to get focused on what's needed for victory. We have 100 days in a wake up to do it.
All right, Bannon, Battlefield 2018. Next week, we identify the defining races in this upcoming midterm. Steve, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Sean.
All right, when we come back, he wants to be the next Speaker of the House. Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, why he's running for Speaker, and later, more of my one-on-one with Roseanne Barr. A lot of people are talking about. Straight ahead. Congressman Jim Jordan announced that he was running for Speaker of the House, and earlier I sat down with the congressman to ask why he's running and what agenda he's going to push. Take a look. Joining us now, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, who has announced he is running to be the next Speaker of the House. How are you, sir? Welcome. Rare in-studio appearance.
Thank you for having me.
We're 101 days now outside of the midterm elections. I'm calling it the most important midterm in our lifetime.
Right. They want to impeach the president if they win. We got to win.
Explain.
Yeah. Well, if the Democrats get in office, they will go after President Trump because they went so far left with this socialist, progressive, Democrat, agenda they have. So this is why it's so critical. And here's what's at stake. Think about the last year and a half. Regulations reduced, taxes have been lowered, unemployment at its lowest in 20 years, economy is just humming along. Gorsuch is on the court, Kavanaugh's on deck, the embassy's back in Jerusalem. We're out of the crazy Iran deal, and the hostages have come home from North Korea. And I'm forgetting a few things. By anyone's definition, that is an amazing year and a half. But what's amazing about that list as well is Congress only helped with a little bit of that, the regulation of the taxes. Congress has got to do a better job, and that's why I want to be the next Speaker of the House. We got to focus on doing what we told the American people we were going to do, delivering on health care, delivering on the border security, on immigration, and all those other issues.
How did it happen in the middle of the health care debate? We discovered that there were about 100 House Republicans and certainly 7 Senate Republicans that had voted to repeal Obamacare in 2015.
Same bill.
Same bill, and then they changed when it mattered.
Six Republican senators voted against the exact same legislation they had supported before. After telling the Americans, after getting elected in 10, after getting elected, taking the Senate in 14, after winning the White House in 16 on that issue, and then not to deliver on that. We haven't delivered on health care reform, repealing Obamacare, haven't delivered on welfare reform, work requirements for able-bodied people, haven't delivered on immigration policy and border security wall, and certainly haven't delivered on holding and controlling spending. That's what we got to do, because that's what we told the American people we were going to do if they gave us the privilege to serve.
Okay, but the president on his own, as you pointed out, has accomplished a lot.
He's doing
And why is there this reluctance among some Republicans? Is it the president is not the conventional establishment figure? He's iconoclastic, he's bold, he tweets, he says, calls it out fake news. What is it that some Republicans don't like?
It's the town. It's Washington. The swamp is the swamp. They don't like someone like Donald Trump coming in there and changing the swamp and changing the way that town works. There's just this reluctance to ever change, even though the American people said in 2010, we're going to put you in charge of Congress to go change things. Even though in 2014, they gave us the Senate to say, go change things. And even though in 2016, they gave us the White House to go change things, there's still this reluctance. And the president feels it every stinking day because he is bound and determined to do what he told the American people he was going to do, what he ran on, the mandate we got from that election, and the House needs to do the same. We've done some good things, but not near enough. The reform that we need to do, like the president's doing,
and by the way, in fairness to Paul Ryan, the House has been better than the Senate.
It sure has.
A lot better. But let's go through this list. So we have 14 states record low unemployment. Record low unemployment for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and women in the workplace. And then take it from there. I mean, we've had nothing but huge, massive great economic news, one after the other. You mentioned the foreign policy successes. And I'm thinking there's a track record to run on.
Of course. Let's go campaign on it. And let's also tell the American people, you put us back in power in the House of Representatives, we will do what we said. We will help President Trump accomplish what you told us you wanted to accomplish in 2016, what we ran on.
How are you, if you become the Speaker, and look, I will support you for Speaker, because I think the Freedom Caucus has been the most committed to fighting to keep their promises. And literally the single biggest group fighting to defend the things that are conservative in the country and have helped the president the most.
Yeah, we talk about, when we formed our group 3 years ago, we talk about the countless number of Americans who feel like Washington has forgotten them and left them behind. We want to go fight for those people, do the things we told them we were going to do. I say this all the time, and I say it because I believe it. We make the job of being a member of Congress way too complicated. It's pretty simple. What'd you tell the people you're going to do when they gave you the chance to go serve them, their family, their business? What'd you tell them you're going to do? Go do that. And be willing to stand up and have the debate. All too often, we forfeit even before the debate even happens. Before the referee even blows the whistle, we just say, we're going to forfeit the match. We're going to forfeit the game. Let's play the game. Let's wrestle the match. Let's make it happen doing what we told them we were going to do.
How will you be different?
That's simple. Here's a great example. The omnibus spending bill. We were so poised to win that debate and hold spending down on non-defense spending, do what needs to be done for our troops, but hold it down on everything else, because Chuck Schumer had shut down remember he shut the government down on Friday? And over the weekend, the American people said, "You're crazy." And so on Monday, he says, "Shazam, I'm going to open the government back up," because he was losing in the political and the public relations world. So he opens the government back up. A few weeks later, we had a chance on that big spending bill to treat our troops the way they deserve to be treated for defending our country and hold the line on everything else. And what did we do? What the swamp always does. We said, nope, we won't even have the debate. Even though we got a guy in the White House who was great at debating, great at taking the message to the American people, even though we had all that, we said, let's just do what we always do. Let's spend more money on everything, and the deficit goes up, the debt goes up, and the band plays on in the same old swamp.
And the president's literally squeezed because if he wants the money for defense, because we literally
because we sent him a bad bill.
All right, Jim Jordan, good luck. We're going to watch this very closely. Do we know when Ryan's leaving?
We do not. He said he's going to stay, so I take him at his word.
All right, thanks for being with us.
You bet, thank you.
And when we come back, more of my exclusive interview with Roseanne Barr as Hannity continues.